Welcome to the writings of Patrick S. Smith.
Hello, all. I hope everybody had a good holiday season and a good, happy, safe New Year's. Uh, Hopefully, 2026 will be a far sight better than 2025 was for a lot of us. Though, as a writer, it was in some respects, my most productive year, my biggest year yet. So, we'll see what this year holds for us. Sadly, this will be the last video that I published to TikTok. I mentioned in the previous video, I have to do a second run for TikTok where I reformat the video for their aspect ratio versus the aspect ratio that's used with, say, YouTube or Odyssey. So, for those of you who watched me on TikTok, you can find me on YouTube, Odyssey, or Rumble. But thank you for the views. I do appreciate that. Status report since the last time. I did touch a couple storyboards, added a few words to Hunting the Angel. But mainly I took the time to start formatting Tales of the Seeress 2, records from the Sage of El Rub, recordings from the Sage of El Rub. I have not decided on a title for that yet. Going to kick it around a little bit more. May actually, ask my youngest when I get a chance about it. Started formatting For the Love of Death, and then a fourth anthology of just the others. The ones that don't fit into another category. So got those started. At least now I get an idea of how much more work is involved in them. Possibly, and just looking at them, depending on my mood and what creeps out of my head, it looks like Tales of the Seeress 2 or Record of the Sage of El Rub will be the next book out. They probably will beat Amber, because I haven't touched Amber in a hot minute. So, there is that. Because the last 2 weeks I took time off from work, I went behind the mic and recorded New Home Found, New Home Lost, to set it up for revisions to making something, or to rewrite that, revise it, to make it make it more readable for the anthology. So that's in the pipeline, and I did finally start to edit To Draw a Soul You Must Give Your Soul. Have not listened really to the edit to start figuring out where I need to start working to make changes, or re-record things. And I will probably take an attempt to go back and do voices for all the characters. So, it's not just my voice. It will be my voice, but it won't just be my normal voice. You'll get every character will have their own tone. So there is that. I also took time to play with two new programs, for visual work, Blender and Daz. Haven't decided which one I'm going to go with. I mean, Daz seems to run a little bit better than Blender, and Daz has got all the models, but I'm also probably not using the best version of each. So, and it does look like Blender I can do a lot more with, even if the models aren't there. I'm still learning, I'm still playing, so we'll see how. I'm gonna have to dig around and see if I can find character models for Blender and go from there, because that way I could start doing some of my own artwork. I don't think I'll graduate past thumbnails. But I might get lucky and make something I like, and might be something at least I could go to an artist and say, hey, this is my concept, this is what I'm thinking, here's the source files, can you do something with them, and go from there. Outside of the writing side of things, that creative process, I with my time off, I actually could sit down and enjoy watching hockey. And while I was watching hockey, I could sit there and also knit and work on my daughter's scarf. And I got a fair bit. It's 26 inches or so. So it's coming along. Um, I'm hoping to have this done in another week or two, based on how much I've been able to do before on it. So a couple other things I've been working on during this time off from work when I should have actually been writing. One is I've set up, or I am in the process of setting up a Ko-fi site, and that's Kofi, because number one, I've got some plans there. I don't, because I can actually set up a shop. I got some ideas on things I'd like to sell there. Bookmarks. People always seem to be buying bookmarks. At least readers do. That possibly sell my books through there. That is down the road, but short term, just there. I know there's got to be a few of you out there who like what I do and like to kick something my way, but don't want to buy the whole book. So that'll be your opportunity. Also, I'm looking at moving the newsletter from the website to Substack, and that way I could also expand that in that direction a little bit. Don't know if I'm actually going to do it, because one thing that bothers me about Substack is I could do the free newsletter. That's not an issue. But if I want to do extras, it's a minimum of $5 a month or $30 a year. And I am not worth that at this point. That is my opinion, just because I've not published enough. I've not gotten enough material. I don't have the focus to write all the time, in my opinion, to justify it. So, but I may still set up the Substack, just have it out there as a freebie for those who don't who have not subscribed to the website, and then at least then you'll still get the notice to say, hey, something new got published, and then you can pop over or find out where to go read it. So that is in the works. No set dates, though. Ko-fi, I'm hoping to have it by the next video. Just it's like one or two items I need to scratch my head and do, and that'll be live. And then I'll share the link here, and it'll be on my blog, and so you'll be able to find it that way. And for those of you who are itching to throw a little scratch my way, thank you in advance. And for me, 2026 has been a bit of a rough start. I woke up this morning to find that my personal PC, my real life one, not my writing one, it was dead. It no turn on. Fortunately, I do work in IT and did some troubleshooting and found out that it was the power brick to it that had died. And I had a spare laying around, so I've got it back up and running, and so now I could do the adulting things like pay bills. So that's back up and running, and then yesterday we had to take our oldest dog, Maya, and have her put to sleep. She had had a rough day or two going into the week, well, going into Friday. A little lethargic, more than normal for her, because she was 16 plus. But she was having problems eating, keeping food down, and there was I at least saw some traces of blood in that, and also when we took her out to potty, there was blood there, so it woke up, or we had a quick family meeting Friday morning on what to do about her, and both my daughters, didn't want to see her suffer, and honestly, neither did I. So the decision was made. It hit my daughters harder than me. In part, that's just, the father. I got to be the pillar. But the youngest, we got Maya when she was 2, and so they've always been together. Even though technically it was my oldest daughter's dog. Bring the puppy home, and the youngest, quote unquote, steals her. More like Maya bonded with her more than the oldest. So, but I always remember her as a natural born, grade A, first class varmint dog. Because any sort of varmint, it didn't matter if it was a mole, a squirrel, a possum. Oh, she ran it off, or she would go after it like nobody's business. And even as she got older, and she had some problems with her hips, she let them know this was her yard. They were not welcome. And so, but prior to, or during most of the time while my youngest was home from school, Maya seemed to be having some good days and a bit more like we remembered her. So there was that, and she is missed already. My youngest had to go back to the dorms already, and at the time of recording this, and kind of rough. You lose a family member and then have to turn right around and jump feet first back into what you've got to do. It's not easy, and this is the first time second time she's had to do this, and but first time was with Elijah, because he was everybody's favorite of the cats, I think, or if he wasn't their favorite, he kind of ranked up there, and then just having to do it again, it's rough. So, but as I said, 2026 right now is not starting off good, but I'm a odd individual. I always get up every morning having a terrible day. That way it can only get better. So, 2026, you ain't starting off too good, but it will get better. Thank y'all. Y'all take care, and I'll see y'all later. Bye.
Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. You can find more of my books on Amazon.com. Also, you can find more of my stories and poems at patricssmithauthor.wordpress.com. The links are in the description. Thank you.